Yeah, hi, good evening, friends. This is Wasim Ahmed with you once again after a long time, and my apologies from all of those fellows who kept on chasing me on YouTube channel, on WhatsApp, and on emails. And unfortunately, I couldn't respond to your queries since I had some family issues back home. I was quite busy there, but finally, I took some time out today and thought of making this video before your final exam, which is on 2nd of December. You only have 2 to 3 days left in your final exam, so this video is a bit crucial in terms of your final exam because we didn't talk on the last exam scenario and question answers. So guys, in this video we'll be talking about 28th of October exam. What was the scenario, what were the questions, how to solve those questions and all that. So just stay tuned guys, and let us see uh, what will be the approach to solve this exam, because this time NIBOSH has changed their scenario a bit differently, and they came up with a positive approach rather discussing a problematic organization. This time they came up with a scenario in which the organization is very professional. They are very good in health and safety cultures and all that. They follow all the rules and regulations. So, looking at the scenario, I would recommend you to develop a positive approach towards solving the exam rather discussing problems too much. You need to keep in mind that examiner is trying to tell you that the organization is very professional and they know how to tackle with the positive safety cultures and all that. So in this video you are going with a positive approach. Guys, NIBOSH exams are becoming more challenging nowadays, and as I kept on telling you in my earlier videos, you need to be taking some more pain in preparation of exams. It's not the case that things are so simple as earlier it was. Things are different. Expectations of NIBOSH are going higher and higher, and the only route to pass the exam is to practice more and more scenarios. So not only this video, the previously solved videos and all of those videos, you should keep an eye on all of these things to know how to look at the scenario, how to solve, how to understand the questions and how to solve them. This is the technique, this is the key to pass the exam. So I think we'll be starting with the 28th of October exam, and we'll be looking at the scenario. Friends, here we are going to start with the scenario and the question answers, and in this video I will be discussing the scenario. We'll be making summary of the scenario, some important points out of the scenario we'll be looking at, and finally we'll be solving question number 1 here, and you will see what will be the approach to solve such exam scenarios. So let's start. So friends, quickly going through the scenario important points, it is clearly mentioned that you have a dual role in this organization. You are an experienced and respected process operator as well as you are worker representative. So when you are a worker representative, guys, you got a big responsibility on your shoulders towards workers' rights and responsibilities. And this is one of the key points you should keep in mind, that you need to be acting somewhere more responsible with regards to worker rights and all that while taking some decisions. Also, it is clearly defined in the organization that the environment is not an easy environment. This is quite hazardous environment, and the organization is involved in manufacturing of toxic chemicals where incidents can happen anytime. But the organization is very professional. They have a positive safety culture. They have clear lines of responsibilities defined, and they act responsibly. So things are quite simple here. The examiner has made your life easier by showing you everything is good, everything is positive within the organization. So rather going and finding out problems, you already are equipped with the positive things in the scenario. So we'll be looking at some of the positive safety culture indicators in the organization, and even in this scenario I try to highlight all of those indicators which shows that there is a positive safety culture prevailing. So, starting with those points, it is clearly defined in the scenario that world-class safety culture with many industries benchmarking them for health and safety. They have a good safety culture, so many industries in the surroundings, many industries around them, they are following them in their safety cultures. They always benchmark this organization and they like their safety culture. This is one of the positive indicator. Also, guys, this organization is fully compliant with regulations. They are legally compliant and they never breach any regulations. They try to follow all the rules and regulations responsibly, and the objectives are set smartly, and they are coming with a very clear objectives at each level in the organization, from top management to middle management to bottom level. Everybody's objectives are set properly, their roles and responsibilities are defined clearly. So this is another positive safety culture indicator. Okay. The organization always hire and retain motivated workers. They are motivated to do their jobs in a professional manner, and since their responsibilities are set properly, they are always motivated to achieve their roles and responsibilities within due course of time, and even they sometimes try to exceed from the expectations of the management. So this is a good point. Absenteeism rates, sickness rates are very low within the organization, which is another safety culture indicator, positive safety culture indicator. So people are not in troubles, they are not in health related issues, they are quite punctual. The organization has a very good consultation systems internally as well as externally also. Internally with their own employees, they always consult the matters related to health and safety and other matters, and they try to solve the problems faced by their employees. Also externally with their customers, with the other stakeholders, if there is any issue, organization have a clear line of communication through which they consult, they communicate, and they try to resolve the issues faced by employees as well as the clients they have. The accident rates are very low, which is another indicator of a positive safety culture, and even their incident reporting, recording, and investigation standards are very high. So the organization is not leaving this part, even weaker part, but they are also very strong in this area, and rather being proactive in doing risk assessments and all of those things, they are reactive also. If there's any incident or problem, they investigate it properly, they record it properly. Another positive safety culture indicator. There is clear line of internal and external communication leading to effective resolution of problems. We already discussed this issue in consultation also, that the organization is very much clear on how to resolve the issues faced by their stakeholders, including their employees. Organization is fully insured, although the insurance premium is high, but they are fully insured means they take care of their employees. And if there is any problem, for sure they will get insurance premiums and insurance repaid and all those things. So guys, this is another good point to be included in the positive safety cultures, that they take care of their employees and they are providing them with full insurance. Internal external audits are being conducted to ensure continual improvements. So if you refer back to your health and safety management system, audit is a key. And finally, looking at the positive culture in the organization, audit function is also very strong within this organization, and they are audited accordingly, and they always keep an eye on their corporate objectives, whether they are met or not, through an audit system. Audit is, we all know, external audits are done by third parties, and if somebody from third party is saying your organization is good to go with, your management system is good to go with, then for sure it's a star on your shoulder. So these are all positive points with regards to health and safety culture within the organization, guys. So guys, in the first phase, we were talking about positive safety culture indicators which are prevailing in the organization, And in the second phase, now there is an ongoing problem, and we'll be looking at how this organization is professionally handling that problem. So we highlighted again some of the points here, which and the information which is provided in the scenario. So if we look at the problem, there is a slow production rate going on because of one of the problem, which is with the large storage tank containing toxic materials. And you as a process operator, you have the idea about the problem and a solution also, but rather taking your own decision. As we discussed earlier, I would like to connect it with the point highlighted earlier in the positive safety culture, that there are roles and responsibilities properly set and documented by the organization. So, looking at that point, you being a process operator, you didn't take your personal decisions to solve the problems, but you thought of discussing this problem, you thought of highlighting this problem with the top management, with the higher management, with more senior people, involving them in the problem, so that you can come up with a proper decision to solve such problems. So, after you highlighted the issue, a meeting was called where the site manager, engineer, supervisors, operators, everyone participated in that meeting. And it was decided in the meeting that there is internal blockage in the tank that requires complete shutdown of the whole process. So we all know that shutting down a process is a heavy cost. It's a time, it's a cost matter. So you cannot easily make a decision of shutting down a plant where you are losing time and money and all of those resources. And even looking at the history of the plant shutdown, we came to know that there are still 12 months remaining for a normal shutdown and maintenance plan. So finally, it is clear that the issue should be solved without shutting down the plant. And finally, uh, uh, it was notified to the management at a higher level even that this is the issue going on and it requires shutdown and all that. So further meeting was called through video conferencing where the corporate management participated, and one of a very senior engineer who is carrying 25 years of experience with a history of solving such problems without a lost time. He is the one who is also participating in this meeting to come up with some adequate solutions. So during the meeting, it was a video conferencing meeting because many people are scattered here and there. So to save time and other resources, a video conferencing meeting was called, and the senior engineer is also participating in this meeting through video conferencing. So it was agreed that the modification can be done without a shutdown, okay, using some of the resources and properly looking at some of the safety tools, HSE tools, which are your risk assessment and other things. If they are done properly, there is no need for shutdown if this is the situation. So senior engineer was sent to the site to take up the modification task, and he presented a solution to you, being a process operator. So finally, a complete risk assessment was discussed considering the consequences and affected parties. So if you look at the professionalism in the organization, a risk assessment done by a senior engineer, experienced most engineer, and the way they are going to do risk assessment we will be discussing in next slide. It is quite impressive where they are highlighting all the affected parties properly, and they are coming up with some of the solutions to bring the risk levels down to ALARP as low as reasonably practicable. So let's have a look. So friends, they started risk assessment process, and as we were discussing, if you look at the way they were doing risk assessment was impressive. They started identifying the affected parties, and they looked at who is going to be hurt out of the activity in case of any problem and how they are going to be hurt. So they identified the nearby businesses, the neighboring businesses, the schools in the area, and anyone who can get effect out of their activities. So they clearly defined those parties who are going to be affected, and they looked at the existing controls which are already in place, and they discussed about those controls, and it was further decided that they are going for some additional controls like permit to work system, safe system of work, supplementary emergency arrangements, and suitable induction training for all contractors involved to mitigate the risk. So they defined the additional controls accordingly to bring the risk levels down. So finally, the experienced engineer who was leading the risk assessment exercise, he convinced the team that the risk will be reduced to ALARP as low as reasonably practicable after taking up these control measures which they discussed. And it's not the only case. They further decided to circulate all of these risk assessment findings and control measures to the affected parties so that they should also know in case of any problem what are the controls in place and what to do regarding the supplementary emergency arrangements, what each party have to do and all that. So it is communicated very well, risk assessment. So finally, they started the modification task, and prior to start of the work, a permit to work was issued to contractors who are going to execute the modification task. And we all know that when a permit to work is issued, all the problems are identified, all the controls are highlighted, and assured that all controls are in place. So all hazards and controls associated to the task were clearly defined in PTW, and contractors were issued this PTW. They were clearly inducted on the potential problems which can arise, and what can be the solutions and all that, and all the arrangements were checked properly before start of the modification task. So friends, if you refer back to your course materials, there was a topic on contractor management in the first element, and it was clearly defined there that how to select a contractor, how to plan your activities, and how to monitor a contractor. So if we look at this organization, they're following the same sequence. They uh, they were planning the work, they were doing some risk assessments in the earlier, and then now they are going to communicate that risk assessment with the contractors who are involved in the execution phase. So all precautions mentioned in the PTW were communicated to contractors and other affected parties. They highlighted in their risk assessment. Active monitoring will be ensured to enforce the precautions of PTW during the task. They are not leaving their contractors like this after doing risk assessment, but they want to keep an eye on those contractors whether they are following all the controls they mentioned in the risk assessment or not. So this is one of the positive point. So during the modification task, you as a process operator along with another independent site contact, you were nominated to monitor the task and liaise with the contractors during the tank modification job. So you are a monitoring party now, and independent site contact will further closely monitor the additional expectations like contractor site entry and exit control, resolution of any queries, and the supervision standards. So you need to be looking at each and every point here. So you and site contact will further check the ongoing progress of the risk of the task against the planned activities. So it's a complete process, and this organization is keeping an eye on the contractor, even on the progress, everything. So all of these are some of the positive points you need to keep in mind, and you might need them in answering some of the questions ahead. So friends, now we are moving towards question answers, and if you look at the task one, which is discussing moral reasons for managing health and safety, our question number one is comment on the organization's health and safety morals. So it's a very easy question now. If you look back to the scenario, we have seen that almost everything is positive. Organization is very professional towards health and safety matters and all that. and the way they did risk assessment, and they identified some of the controls like PTW and safe systems of work and all of those controls. They are very much careful about their hazardous nature of jobs, and even in identification of the affected parties, they were carefully looking at anyone who may get effect out of their activities. So we need to go with a positive approach, guys. Here, we need to be answering this question in a very positive approach, and I plan to answer this question in a way that in the first two paragraphs, which are on your slide here now, we are trying to make our point that the employer is quite responsible, and first of all, the moral responsibility of health and safety is quite crucial, and then we try to support our answer using the conventions and recommendations by ILO, as well as Health and Safety at Work Regulation 1999, that it's not only moral, it's legally also, the law is also putting some moral responsibilities to the employers to look at some of the safe work processes, safe work equipments, and all of those things. So if we look at these two paragraphs, I started with health and safety primarily is a moral responsibility of employers, and they must make sure that the health and safety and welfare of all employees is ensured at their workplaces. This should not be limited to only their own employees, but also other stakeholders like contractors, subcontractors, visitors, general public. Everyone must be included. Protecting human lives, injuries, and ill health effects is one of the major moral perspectives to be followed. So, in the first paragraph, we made up our point, supporting our answer here to show that moral reasons are very important for health and safety, and each of the employer must look at those moral values, moral reasons, moral behaviors they should show to control the situations at their workplaces. Second paragraph, we said, as per Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulation 1999, this is a UK based law, and ILO C155 R164. C155, as you all know, is conventions, and R164 is all recommendation to the employers. They, as per those regulations, employers are responsible to provide a safe place of work, safe equipment and machines, safe systems of work to ensure health and safety of their workers, as well as others directly or indirectly may be affected by the activities of the organization. So within this organization, they are doing the same thing, and they are looking at each and every critical point to be morally responsible. Keeping the information provided in the scenario, it is clear that the organization has a positive attitude towards health and safety arrangements, and there is a positive attitude prevailing within the organization, which further lead to the higher organization's moral values towards health and safety. So up to this point, guys, now you are successful in making up your point, which you are going to discuss further, and you are going to connect it with the scenario. But it is very important to make your point first, what you want to say. You want to deviate or you want to support. So we have already done this one. So let's move on to the points we highlighted. So friends, up till here, we are done with half of the job, and we have made up our point that health and safety morals of the organization must be higher. And we prove now that within this organization, there are higher morals of health and safety by taking some of the points from the scenario and connecting it with our answer. We have to make our points towards examiner, showing him that yes, within this organization also they are taking good care of health and safety morals. So if you look at the points I highlighted, the organization have proven safety culture and being used as a benchmark in health and safety by many others in the industry. For sure, nobody will follow you, nobody will benchmark you unless you have a good safety culture, you have a proven safety, good safety culture within the organization. So if many of the industry fellows are benchmarking them, it's proven that yes, they have a very good health and safety culture prevailing. So it shows they have good morals for health and safety. This is first point. Secondly, legal compliance is very important, guys, and within this organization, complete legal compliance and effective methods of setting the objectives to be achieved is another important point should be discussed here. It is only possible when somebody is morally responsible, then only they take care of regulations, they take care of the objectives to be achieved and all that. So within this organization, this process is also going on very effectively. Point number three, we said morals of employees within the organization, they are quite high as they are motivated to achieve their set objectives and always try to continually improve in their domains. It is only possible, guys, when your health and safety morals are quite high, that people are motivated to work, where they feel they are satisfied, they are not going to be hurt out of the activities, they are in a safe workplace, then only the morals of workers are high. And also, they love their job, they try to exceed their targets and objectives. So, this point should be discussed also to show the morals of health and safety within the organization. Organization has effective mechanism of consultation and customer complaint handling. Guys, this is only possible when you think safety is a moral value, first of all, then you start talking to the people, to the employees, to the workers, to the other stakeholders about the issues they are facing at jobs, and you try to resolve those issues. So, another important point to be discussed here. Effective communication on health and safety matters, improving complaint handling systems. This is very important, guys. Communication is a key. When we talk about health and safety rules, regulations, if they are in a book, in a cabinet, it has got no value. But if they are well communicated to the concerned parties, now these concerned parties can be your own employees, your contractor, subcontractor, and people in the area. If your health and safety rules, regulations are communicated well, then for sure everyone knows and they follow them. So this is another important point to be discussed to show that the health and safety morals are very high within the organization. Organization is fully insured to cover potential damage arising. So organization take care of their employees and they get them fully insured to make sure that if there is any problem arising in future, for sure they are protected, they are covered by insurance. So this is also very important. Having strong audit function in action to ensure effective management of health and safety. So this is also quite important that you get your organization audited properly to make sure that there is no loophole within your management system to make sure the health and safety of people around you. So guys, all of these 7 points are very important to be discussed to show to the examiner that yes, there are higher morals of health and safety within the organization, and this is how you need to support your answer. So guys, to further strengthen your answer, you can also discuss the ongoing issue and the way organization is handling that issue in a very professional manner. So I put one paragraph at the end here saying further looking at one of the current issue going on for the modification of tank and the way organization has been handling this issue by doing proper risk assessment using experienced engineer along with the other competent persons from different levels of the management group. Also, identification of larger group of parties may get affected out of the activity shows that they are fully concerned about the health and safety of their organization, of the employees, of the contractors, and even the neighboring parties in a close vicinity. So this point will strengthen your answer that yes, you are connecting it now with the scenario properly, and you know that how organization is professionally taking up this job, which is a critical job. Out of the meeting, many controls they are thinking to implement like permit to work system, safe system of work and supervision by senior management. All these actions by management are evident of higher moral values of organization towards health and safety. So finally, in close out, you proved that there are certain actions by this organization which shows that there are higher health and safety morals prevailing within the organization, and they are fully concerned about health and safety of their own worker, their stakeholders, and other parties who may get affected out of their critical job. So this is how you need to close out your answer, and you made up your point till here that yes, the moral values within the organization are quite higher. So friends, just a quick recap. If we look at the scenario, there is a positive safety culture prevailing within the organization. So we highlighted all the positive points mentioned in the scenario. And if we look at the question number one, they want to know what kind of health and safety morals the organization have. So looking at everything as a positive side, we made up our point that yes, there are positive morals for health and safety within the organization, and this is how you need to go with the answer part. I hope you like the video, and just stay tuned, stay connected. I will try to make some other videos before your exam. So guys, see you soon inshallah. Thank you very much.